devices.
Thank you for the title.
I'll have to fill in thumbnails tomorrow during the round. Been meeting during the round, which is unfortunate for work, but it's whatever. Why is chat disabled for this live stream? No, it's not made for kids. That's why. Kids are woke. There we go. Jules Jordan will be right here. He is got some emergency work stuff going on, so we'll be here shortly, but
Got the ice cream truck outside my house right now.
nice. A sign of the slam, possibly.
Yes.
Very plausible.
Put up on the Instagram.
Okay, let me put it up on the Twitter. We'll get started in 5 minutes if he's not here, but beer.
Big week, big week ahead. Have you seen all the stuff about guys just like kind of just crapping all over Quail?
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of maybe not the greatest look if you're trying to get people to watch your event.
I mean, is that on the PGA or is that on the players?
I I think a mix of both. PGA obviously has to provide a good product. Doesn't mean that, you know, Quail Hollow isn't going to be a good test this week. And I think the players also have to realize that like it's their job to make people want to watch it. Like they are the entertainment. And if you're going to drum down your own entertainment, then I'm not really sure what the purpose of that is. Um, but maybe ultimately the result is do not go to a typical PGA Tour stop.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's so much history at Pebble that an exception could be made if they went to Pebble every 15 years. But I think besides that, they shouldn't even be in the conversation for major spots, personally. It's just me. But
Yeah. Well, what would you think if Quail like removed itself from the tour year in and year out and just was like, we're gonna host majors and that's all we're gonna do?
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't love it either because I'm just not a fan of quail in general. But I know a lot of people are a fan of quail. They're just not a fan of the tour stop being a major course. So I
Right.
think it would. I think I'd like it better, but I still would not think it's a great major venue.
Okay.
Are there worse major venues? Sure.
Yeah. I think ultimately though, like, yeah, you kind of know what you're getting with Quail.
Yeah.
It's like a pretty bland, or not bland's not the right word because it's sort of gorgeous in a manicured way.
It's
I think
green.
it's yeah, it's very green, it's well kept, it's hard.
There's water.
There's water, but it's not like there's not a whole lot of interestingness to it, like character or quirk or it's just a big boy golf course, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with big boy golf courses,
Yeah.
but it's like I am not really sure how to describe it other than that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's fair. I think it's an interesting discussion to say the least. But all right, do you want to get started?
Yeah,
Are you
I'm
able to
here.
record?
Just rolling. Yeah, I can record.
Well, you can just send it to Jordan or put it up yourself. Doesn't matter to me. But Jordan will join in. I'm sure we have plenty to talk about tonight. So,
Yes. You ready?
yep.
Let's do it.
Hello, everyone. It is major season. It is slam season. Welcome to episode 156 of the Go Get That podcast. And this is our fourth PJ Championship, fourth slam preview. Is that true, Dan? Is that correct?
Yes, I believe so. 22, 3,
Two,
4,
three,
and
four,
5.
five. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, so as the gents get older, Spieth Slam chances get younger. um, so we're Quill Hall this week. We were just talking about this before we started the episode. On live, people talking about getting a lot of backlash. There's been a lot of controversy this week, and I've made it very firm on this podcast. From my standpoint, I don't think tour venues should host majors. I'm also just not a fan of Quail Hollow in general. Um, I don't like golf courses that's biggest defense is distance. And that's what I feel like this golf course is. Um, it doesn't matter how much creativity you have. If you can't drive the ball over 290 yards, you're not going to win here. And I think that's unfortunate. I think that's not how the sport was meant to be played. I think if a course is going to be long, it needs to be firm enough where it's not. I mean, the Brian Harmons and the Bezaden Notes are not going to compete here. We saw that firsthand um, at the President's Cup, and I'm not against I'm not against long golf courses. I just think that that's about really all this course has that separates itself from another tour venue is it's you just gotta brood it around the golf course. You've got to hit it far and then deal with what's next after that. A lot of long irons. Um, you will see some medals on par threes. There are a lot of long par threes. So it's not my favorite course on the schedule on a yearly basis. For Jordan Spieth, I think it's pretty whatever. I think that this is probably one of his best courses to win the PGA, most likely, I'd say.
Yeah, he's a good
Um,
course fit this week
it's a good course fit
for
for
his
him.
for his game
Um,
now,
for
for
his game
sure.
now, I mean the form's not there. I mean, hate to break it to you, but I don't. It's not the slam week, unfortunately. I just don't see it. I'm going to start off by saying that. I think he's progressing well. I said at the start when I got on the Zoom that last week was 6 steps back. I actually kind of retract from that as my camera dies. I don't think it's necessarily 6 steps back, but I think that it certainly wasn't forward, and it probably eliminates him um, from this week. I just don't think. I think there's a lot of unknown with him right now, which is unfortunate. But yeah,
I think it's interesting because Jordan and I talked about this on the Philly cricket recap that went live Wednesday morning. Um, and Cricket Club is a very different course than Quail. So I think if you're looking for some things that might be an indicator of potentially a bounce back or some better play, I think that's certainly one thing to look at is that there's some course familiarity and it's a totally different golf course. I think
yeah,
Jordan brought up yesterday, I guess this morning, that the worst course fit in his model and in models in general is Sepp Straka, who just won last week. So very different style of golf that's going to be played this week. I think as we've kind of touched on, it definitely fits Spieth's game a lot more. And I think if I'm going to paint a picture of how it might happen this week, and then obviously there's some optimism that would go along with this, is the putter short game. The short game was pretty good last week, even if the rest of the stuff wasn't. But if the putter short game and driver have are kind of fixed up a little bit and provide a high floor, and then he gets hot with the irons the way a Bradley might get hot with the putter. I think that's the formula for contention, at least. I think winning feels pretty,
out
just
of the
feels
picture.
unlikely. We just haven't seen him really be in serious contention this year to win a golf tournament. And I think that's notable and
Yeah.
who knows where he is ahead of in terms of being on schedule, ahead of schedule, whatever it may be. But it's certainly wherever it is, it doesn't feel like this is the week for a triumph of this caliber.
No, and it stinks because truly, I think this time next year he'll have a much better chance, but this time next year just won't be as good a course fit. I mean, this may be the best course fit on the Rota for him to win. If we're being honest, we really don't know what Frisco looks like, and a lot of the maybe Kiowa, but a lot of the PGA spots really don't fit his game. So it stinks, wasting a really good opportunity course wise because the PGA is a very different style of golf every year needed to win. So um, it stinks that it's kind of a wasted opportunity in that right. But he is recovering. He's still only a few months removed from his first start back, so it's not a shock. It's not anything to be panicking about, but it is the reality that it's unfortunate that he's wasting such a good course fit 5 6 months after surgery. But it is what it is. I mean, I think there's a lot of good that can come from this week. He putted pretty poorly last week, even though the stats don't say that. He struggled with confidence. He didn't really stand over any putts expecting to make them. I noticed. Um, Made a few long bombs that sort of made the stats look better than what they were. But this is a place he's putted well historically, so I think that's a good thing. Maybe see putts fall at a major for once, which is nice because Lord knows that doesn't happen very often, or hasn't recently. So it would be nice for that because honestly, right now I'm all eyes on Birkdale. Sorry, not Birkdale. El
Portrush.
Pool, or is it
Portrush.
Portrush? All signs on Ireland. So because that's there really isn't a course besides maybe probably the worst course on the open road for him is St. Andrews, St. George's, which is funny. That just shows how well he played in 2021 because St. George's was not really a course that fits him very well. But almost every course on the open road fits his game, right? He's just a very good he's very good at hitting non-stock shots. That's where he thrives. He thrives when he's in trouble, when he has to hit a shot that's not a stock 7 iron. So that's kind of where we're looking. I mean, I'm hoping to peak for the Open this year, and um, I think seeing putts fall at a major championship is a big step towards that. So
Yeah.
I'd be fine if he. I honestly would be fine if he shit the bed with the ball striking this week and made everything he looked at. I think that a performance like the 2019 PGA would be fun to watch again. I think that it's something that I think it's been a long time since he stepped over a putt um, in a major and felt really confident it was going to go in. And I think that that could go a long way to getting him back on top because I think the swing's close. I think the swing's really close. I don't think he's confident with it right now, but I think it's close. So I'd like to see putts fall this week, and that's really the thing I'm going to be looking at the most.
Yeah, I think that's fair. He did putt well at the Masters this year, which I kind of take with not a grain of salt, but it's sort of a different major than the rest of them, right? It's the
Yeah.
same course every year. He's putted well there before. I think what kind of what you're looking for is putting well at a sort of a different type of a major championship. He hasn't putted well at majors in general, but this will get him into a spot. Putting well here, I think, will elicit some more confidence. And honestly, playing with confidence is so important, especially for him. I mean, we see it all the time, right? But I think the bag, it kind of breeds through the bag a little bit, make a few early putts and start to just have a belief of being able to keep making putts and give yourself a few looks. You're right. I really don't think the swing is that far off. And it wouldn't surprise me if he hit it decently this week. I mean, the way the driver's been going, like the floor with that seems pretty high. Short game found a little form. So, um, I think it could be a solid week, but maybe unspectacular, which is kind of how it's been all season. And it's been somewhat consistent in that realm of being solid but unspectacular. and there's nothing inherently that wrong with that. Um, but certainly the putter would create uh, a spark, I think, that we're kind of looking for and might sort of kick his gears into contention mode. Hopefully, come Friday afternoon into Saturday, and then obviously, ideally, all the way through Sunday.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that you just don't have the feel that you feel like he needs something that's going to make him believe. You just don't get the feel that he believes he can win right now. You know what I mean? Like just some of his
Like,
comments from this
yeah,
week. It doesn't feel like he believes it in himself that he can win right now. And I think that just something that would spark that belief would be a massive step in the right direction. I mean, he was asked um at I forget when, maybe it was at the cricket club, if he was gonna bring it home this week, and he said, "I hope so." It's not really the answer of someone who
wow, yeah.
probably
I think one of his lines too was like, "Man, I hope I can throw my
throw my
hat in
hat,
the
throw my
ring."
hat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like, dude. I mean, I appreciate his honesty, and I think that's actually a pretty good descriptor for where his game is at relative to the rest of the
yeah,
world. Like, there's a chance he could be, and I'd say it's a sizable-ish chance that he's part of the picture, kind of lurking around being really relevant in the golf tournament.
yeah. I mean, I
Um,
could see.
but I don't think there's a whole lot of like,
I mean, I could see Rory and Bryson being 12 under on the back nine on Sunday, and Spieth being 8 or 9, a few holes ahead of him.
well, yeah, I think even that's taking it even farther than like I am imagining. Um,
I'm talking more in like a sense where he's 120 to 1 because he's 5 holes ahead, making a nice little
oh,
track
okay.
run.
Yeah. No, I
Like
was
he's
kind of,
three back, but he's lurking, but he needs like
yeah, I was kind of thinking like going into the weekend, he's sort of,
like six,
if
seven
the
back.
lead's at like 9, he's kind of at 3.
Yeah,
And it's kind of like, yeah, go post a
yeah,
um
that's fair.
3 or 4 or 5 under and see what happens. And you're kind of like, well, okay, he'll probably post 2 if it's a solid day, and that'll be
It's
fine. But
fair.
he's never like really there, and that's just kind of where we're at. But I mean, you never know. Pouring a few on starting on Thursday and just get some momentum and see if it can be carried, right? And see if he can
Yeah, I
just
mean you never know.
be hot. He's played some good first rounds this year. Um, and he's played some, had some nice kind of high floor rounds. Jordan and I talked a little bit about the floor being, I mean, especially in comparison to last year being higher. It feels like he's posted a lot of rounds in the 60s, even if they're relative to the field, not great rounds, like a 70 or a 69, a 68 isn't going to kill you, especially this week, obviously. But
Yeah.
um, it seems like he'll just kind of be floating. And if one of the really good rounds comes on Thursday and Friday, then we've got a little bit more juice heading into Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, no, I really agree as my camera dies again. Yeah, I think that like transitioning from Spieth a little bit, which may even help his chances. Oh, nice. Um, this camera needs to be replaced. I do think we get kind of an unexpected winner this week. Feels like
Interesting.
we're due for one of those. Last time we really had an unexpected winner was, I guess, actually, I guess Harmon was, but yeah, I guess Harmon Clark are the more recent ones. Um, but yeah, I think we are due for a more like I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a long shot win this week. Maybe like a Connors or Minwoo. Though Minwoo drove it everywhere last week. I mean, we almost got hit by multiple Minwoo foul balls, but he does hit it far. So there's that. Um, yeah, I could see one of those guys. Um, call me crazy. I could see. Cam Young. Um,
That's crazy.
I I I don't think I don't think a 200 to 1 winner's out of the picture here. It's a tour venue. I think you'll see a 200 to 1 guy in the conversation on Sunday. Um, I just I don't think it's going to set up very differently than the Wells Fargo. It's
Well,
it's pretty soft.
that's what Rory said, and that's kind of disappointing. We talked a little bit about the PGA, like who is it on, the players of the PGA to kind of juice up their product, and the fact that like Rory said it, and some other guys are saying that this is kind of just the Wells Fargo all over again is disappointing for sure.
Yeah.
But also to your point, I think brings more guys into play. I'm not sure it'll actually play 100% like the Wells Fargo. Like I think they'll get
Yeah,
this
I
thing
mean probably
figured out
not
come
100% like it.
Saturday, Sunday, but it is disappointing to hear that, but kind of
I think
helps
it'll
your point.
feel like I think it'll feel like a major on Thursday and Sunday. I don't think it'll feel like a major on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, I guess it kind of the mo majors are made by the moments too, right?
Yeah,
Like if
yeah, absolutely.
somebody makes a charge on Saturday, um, I think that
Yeah, like if Spieth
kind of
shoots
flips the
66 on
narrative.
Saturday, it's going to feel like a major because everyone's going to be talking about the Grand Slam. But like still,
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with you. But Jordan,
Hey,
welcome.
evening, fellas. Evening, YouTube, the world. Uh,
yes.
Yeah.
seems we're talking course.
Yeah,
Yes.
we kind of just made the transition. You can give your speed thoughts after. We're kind of talking about. I kind of think there's going to be a random winner this week. I think it's going to be. I think you could see anyone really win this week. Just because I think it's going to play a lot like the. I mean, I was thinking like maybe a Minwoo or like a Connors, like someone in that range. But I could also I see someone in the 200 to 1 range being in the conversation on Sunday.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe like a Novak. He's playing well. Like
Novak,
someone of that variety. Probably won't win, but
I would love that. I know you mentioned Minwoo. I think I like Minwoo a lot this week. Um, yeah, Dan and I were kind of chatting it up yesterday. I was telling him I really hope it isn't a chalk week, even
I
though
don't think it will be.
I hope it isn't because it kind of, I mean, to me it feels like it. I think it's
The only way I feel like it's going to be a chalk week is if like Rory wins by 4.
so you wouldn't consider Bryson chalk? I think he's the chalkiest player this week in terms of like
In terms of bets, yeah. I think that I don't think Scheffler's winning this week. I think Bryson has the best chance of the 3.
I'd agree.
Um but I still could see I the way my gut's telling me someone in the 70 to 1 range beats Bryson on Sunday.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Sign up for that.
And I'd be rooting for Bryson, but I think cuz I think there's been a lot of chalk in the last I mean the only real random major winners since 2020 have been Clark and like I mean Harmon's far from random, but
Yeah, I was gonna say he's random.
um but like maybe like I was gonna say like a Russell Henley type player. It's not gonna be Henley, he doesn't hit the ball far enough, but like someone in that like realm of people,
I
like a
think it'd
name
be,
like that.
I think a part of it too is that the course is like, I don't know how to describe it, or this isn't a great descriptor of it, but Quail is pretty chalky. It's a chalky golf course. It's
It
very like
is.
it's cookie cutter isn't the right way. I think I've called it the Tory of the East before. Um,
Yeah, good informed players win here.
yeah, and which is fine.
Yeah.
But it's
Um,
very like you know what you're gonna get day in and day out from it.
it's very
It's
course history weighted.
yeah, there's not like quirk.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised to see Mickelson up there by any means.
Yeah,
Um, I wouldn't be surprised to see Fowler play well this week.
I would. It's still Ricky Fowler.
Played well
Um,
last week. Course horse.
yeah, it's still Ricky Fowler. I mean, it's we'll see. He'll probably have a good Thursday and then have a worse round consecutively each day. I mean, it is chilling that Mickelson is still not touch property this week.
Shows that he's in command of his game.
Yeah, or he's filming some YouTube videos or whatever it may be, but
I mean,
it's
it's
chilling
clear
that
all of his eggs are in the Oakmont basket,
that's
but
also well said.
but
I think it's also chilling that he's the, you know, defending champ from 4 years ago. Like he
yeah.
won this tournament not that long ago,
No, I mean
realistically.
he's
Talk about
certainly one of the favorites.
random major winners.
I yeah, he's certainly not in the random major winner category. I mean, I could I could see Phil firing a really good round tomorrow. I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna. I could see him going 5 under and then finishing T55.
That'd be cool. That had a
Yeah,
little spice.
yeah.
I know some people, a lot of people are on. I know. I mean, I don't want to. I'll hold that to myself, but a lot of people are on Neiman this
I
week to
Neiman's
crack the top 10 for the first time in a major. Feels
yeah.
like a
I mean that's the
decent.
only reason I'm not on him to win is because I don't think his first top 10 is gonna be a win. But Mr. Schlober made a very good point when we were discussing who to take out right, and he said this is probably the best chance Neiman will ever have to win a major. Tour course in probably the best form he'll ever be in his life. He's probably correct in saying that. There's
Yeah,
probably not a better course fit for him than this week, and he's probably in the best form he'll ever be in. So
that is an astute observation.
this is probably his best chance to win a major, but I don't think it's going to happen. It's not like he's been trending in majors. So
No, unless you consider like better than some top 40s or something. But
yeah,
um,
yeah. But what are your thoughts, Jordan? Who do you think's going to win this week?
Bryson.
You do?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny you're mentioning like long shots, and I'm kind of like just looking at my model a little bit. Some like course fit guys who aren't like your big names, but your longer shots, and I'm seeing like Matt Wallace, Ben On, Burmeister, Cam Davis, like
What Burmester could Burmester's a name to watch out for this week because he hits the ball so deep and he's
yeah,
playing sneaky well.
that's like kind of my thing. Like I always like to kind of look and see like who are the course fit guys who I mean it's easy to pick chalk. I mean that's kind of what I'm doing for triple double this week just because, it's the most likely outcome, but like it's fun to look for the long shots just because you got to dig a little deeper and it's cool to look at the little model I put together every week and see like who are the course fit guys who are Minwoo's up there too. Minwoo's a name I really like this week. Um, he's not a long shot, but what is he on the board? Probably 70, 80 to 1.
yeah,
He's 90.
Yeah. So it's cool to look at those names. Kitayama's another one I see. Novak's a course fit and a good course fit, I'd
Yeah,
say.
I like Novak this week. I think Novak could be that guy who's just that really random guy who's in the picture on Sunday.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny, Bob. When we were doing the Truist recap last night, I was talking to Dan, and can you take a guess who the worst course fit is this week? At
He
least,
mentioned it at the start of the podcast. Yeah, so it just goes to show like how different the courses are back to
yeah.
back.
No, they're really different.
But
Um,
that is very weird. That is very weird.
no, for those that didn't see the Truist, I'm talking about Sepp Straka. He's the worst course fit in the field for me this week. Um, be interesting to see how he plays. But I mean, it makes sense kind of as we talked about in the Truist recap. I mean, these two courses, Philly Cricket Club and going into Quail, I mean, they couldn't be more different. Um, so it'd be interesting to see because he's obviously playing well. Can he defy the course fit logic? And I don't think he's going to win this week, obviously, but can he play well? It'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see. I guess when I first chimed in after being well, after I first logged into the Zoom since I was late tonight, I mentioned you guys, I heard you guys talking about the course a little bit, thinking it'll play like a Wells Fargo. I actually mentioned to Dan last night during the Trios recap because we were kind of getting the PGA thoughts, unsurprisingly. I do think there will be, if it plays like it did in 2017 at the PGA, typically for the Wells Fargo, fairways aren't a necessity. Statistically, for the 2017 PGA, they were pretty important to hit. Um, it'll be interesting to see how it plays because I mean, you got to hit it far no matter what, but I think you're going to be doing yourself probably a disservice. I know the rough's a little bit up this week. I think Jordan mentioned that in his presser yesterday, and I think the grass sheet, the rough's at 2.5%, not percent, 2.5 inches, which it's kind of that tough little height because it's playable, but I mean, I think you could talk to it. You play a lot of golf, Bob. 2.5 inches isn't deep, but it's like the one where you can judge it incorrectly, get a flyer, and you're flying the green. So I think it's that length. You want to be playing from the fairway this week, I think. I mean, I think you can bomb and gouge it. I'm sure that's going to be Rory's strategy, but if it plays like it did in 2017, I think fairways will still be at a premium around Quail.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's fair.
They did add some length to the golf course too. I know number 9 is beefy to say the least. I think it's like a 550-yard par 4, 540, which is chilling because I'm not even sure it actually plays downwind that consistently. Um, and then 10's almost six can play almost 600 yards. So kind of making the turn, you've got a long 4 and a big boy 5 that you kind of would like, to go 4-4 in that stretch, but it's also pretty easy to go 5-5 and can kind of be a turning point or just a pivotal part of your round, I think, is maybe the better way to put it. In terms of staying in the championship, kind of gaining control of the championship, whatever it may be. Um, and then
Yeah.
Jordan and I talked about the Green Mile a little bit last night too. Like it's a tough
Yeah.
finishing stretch. And then leading into it is a pseudo drivable 4 and a 5. And so I think you're going to get some pretty serious fireworks come Saturday and Sunday afternoon with the leaders. You play 14, 15 birdie birdie and find a way to play the last 3. And I'd probably say 1 over or better. Uh, you're doing yourself a great service leading into the next round.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You mentioned 9 too. They added length. I'm looking how it played the ninth in the 2024 Wells Fargo. It played over par every day, the ninth hole in 24. And it's kind of funny. They added length for the PGA. I think it's 530 on the card. And yeah, as you mentioned, Dan, they can probably, depending on the pin, stretch it out to 540, 550. And I'm like thinking to myself, going back to Craig Ranch, they added a new tee box. They didn't use it at all. I don't think the PGA of America will be that nice. I think they're going to use this new tee box and, make it to its beefy potential. And, it'll be playing probably 540 one day to a potential back pin, which will be cool.
Yeah. No,
Certainly,
that will be cool. I'm trying to think how many. I don't think it'll ever play to 550. I think that if it's a back pin, they'll move the tees up probably. Um, you have to keep in mind that the players are low sack and complain. So I mean, the USGA doesn't really care, but I'm sure the PGA will like to suck up to the players and not be too mean. But yeah, I'm sure they'll use it at some point. I'm sure that hole will play every inch of 530 at least one or two of the days. But 550 probably not. I don't know if they'll do that. But it may play 550 with the wind. I guess we'll see where the wind is. I don't really know what the weather looks like. I'm not certainly not the meteorologist on this show, but um
Take a peek.
it's supposed to be windy. Maybe it's
Uh,
not. We could see some
no, I'm
wind.
just more curious to see like which holes will be into. Um, that's kind of what I'm a little bit
I,
curious.
I think too, something I've noticed, or I guess and it makes sense, and sometimes it's just weather related, right? But it wouldn't surprise me if there was 5 or 6 under out there on Thursday. And then it wouldn't also surprise me if the winning score ended up being 8, 9, 10.
It
Like
would.
I think there's this idea that you can get some guys off to the races a bit early and then you really toughen up the golf course. I know the greens are going to play firm because they've had the sub air on the whole time. But from what I've seen on Twitter, mostly is my source,
Yeah, I mean, I was wrong last week.
fairways are still
Um,
wet, very
but
wet.
I don't see the winner being less than 12. I don't think. I think it'll probably play 12, 13, 14. That's my guess. Um, I think that the leader's probably 64 tomorrow, 7 under, probably. That's my guess. Um, I think that -2 and -3 is right there though. I don't think there's going to be too many people shooting 65, 66, but I think someone probably shoots 7 under tomorrow. That's my guess.
Yeah. I mean, we'll just have to see how the greens play, how firm
Yeah.
they are. Because I know the fairways are wet, so it's going to play long. They're playing it down. I think there's great mud ball potential
There is a
tomorrow,
great mud ball tomorrow. I
which
mean,
is,
Spieth will make sure to moan for
yes, it'll
sure.
be the moaning and groaning from the Spieth camp will be in full flight. Not from the Scheffler camp though. That will be
Well,
he's
he'll
got
clean the
special
ball. He'll clean the
yes, he's
ball.
got special notice to lift, clean, in place.
Yes, yes. I also heard that.
It's this they call it the Sarazen rule around there. So
Yes. Yes.
gets to be applied to one player, and Scheffler won the lottery for it this week,
Yeah, yeah. Just
surprisingly.
like the Mavs.
Right.
Completely random.
Yes. Spieth jacked up on the flag news that forgot to practice this week.
Spieth doesn't deserve Cooper Flag.
I don't
So,
think Nico Harrison deserves Cooper flag.
yeah.
That's you want to talk about bailouts? That is one of the great bailouts.
I don't even know if it was. Might have been part of the deal all along.
That's also fair.
But regardless, um, yeah. Do you have any Spieth thoughts, Jordan, since you hopped on late?
Yeah, I just had a couple. I had another one more course thought. Just pulling up the wind. We're talking about 9 now. It's gonna play like straight downwind tomorrow. So there's that. If you want to stretch it out,
So they'll probably stretch it out tomorrow. Yeah.
17 is gonna be into. 10 will be
What's
into.
what's the wind at? 10?
3 to 10. I mean, it'll be up
Ah.
a little bit. Gust up to 21.
Oh, that's
Um,
nice.
yeah. So a little bit of wind, but what's 18? 18 will be down off the left. 17 will
That's
be into. 16 will be into. Uh,
that's tough. I mean,
7.
17, 16 is obviously hard, especially if you hit it in that right bunker. 17, they can stretch to 230. My guess is it's not there tomorrow,
Yeah.
but my goodness, that's a tough hole. And then the wind coming off the left on 18 is a help, I guess you can probably play a little cut starting over the water and feel confident that it's gonna drift on into the fairway or hold your draw up a little bit. But
14 will
I
be fun tomorrow because it's playing downwind. So
14.
yeah.
What can it do you know what it can play up to?
I think like 360.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good estimate from Bob.
Wouldn't wouldn't surprise me if they didn't have that drivable until the weekend just for pace of play purposes.
That'd be funny.
I
I
think
mean,
I
it's
think it would
344 on the card.
I
So
think it would be cool to have it on either tomorrow or Friday, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get the pins, probably not on this live, but on probably later later tonight and can kind of do some exploring on how they've got it set up. Because yeah, I think they probably have 5 under, 6 under in mind as like this is where we want to cap guys at. And I mean, you can turn up Quail and make that place play really challenging pretty quickly. So whether they do that tomorrow or whether they wait until Friday or Saturday was to be determined. Um, but
yeah.
I'm excited. I know Quail's not like I don't think it gets I don't know if it deserves love, but it definitely takes a lot of hate um for what it is, and it's going to be a tough test. It's going to require proper golf shots all throughout the bag, and I think that when the best players in the world are playing like they are, I mean, Scotty's coming off a win, Rory's obviously had a great year, Bryson's playing well. Like that makes you think we're going to get a fun golf tournament.
Yeah, no, well put. I think 14 is going to be drivable tomorrow. I really do. Especially for Bryson. I think Bryson's going for it downwind. Um, and I'm just looking at 17 PGA. Thursday was the hardest. It got easier every single day in 2017.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if Bryson wins this week, there's a real path to Rory not being player of the year. Because I think Bryson could win Oakmont in Wingfoot fashion with the way they're trying to set it up.
Isn't isn't player of the year a PGA Tour thing?
I mean, there's
I think so, but I get
I
Bob's
mean,
point.
there's also like a
Yeah,
non.
yeah, I guess that's fair.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I just mean like there's a very good chance Rory doesn't have the best season if Bryson wins this week because the way they're trying to set up Oakmont is exactly how they tried to set up Wingfoot. They tried to
Yeah,
make it so tight and the rough so long that hitting fairways almost didn't even matter because everyone was missing fairways, everyone was missing greens, and Bryson's just going to hit it so far down every fairway that I mean Bryson's already penciled in for me for Oakmont on the triple double. I mean I haven't liked to pick as much as Bryson at the US Open this year as I have most, but I think it's troublesome for the world of golf, especially people who don't like Bryson if Bryson finds a way to win this week. Um so just watch out for that because I think the expected value on the odds at Oakmont will be fantastic for Bryson because I think he should be right in the plus 400 range with Rory and Scheffler at that tournament.
yeah. I was just about to say, like, Rory also feels like he could play his way around Oakmont pretty well.
Yeah, I
And don't
don't see it.
forget he's heading back to Portrush
I don't
too.
see it. I don't think he starts enough putts online. You have to start
Fair.
every putt online there, and that's what Bryson does best is start putts online. Though he was pushing them in the
I was gonna say that.
but like
In his nine
whatever,
hole.
No,
whatever.
it's
I mean, it's a nine
fine.
hole.
I mean, I'll get to Spieth now, but yeah, I'll leave it at that. Bryson's my favorite. I think Bryson should be the favorite this week. My model says that, my eye test says that. But getting into Spieth, I have you guys given your Spieth thoughts yet? Or
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, all right. So my quick thoughts: ceiling about a top 20, floor
Yeah.
miscut. Um, yeah. I mean, I
Yeah, I think there's a better chance he missed cuts in top 15s.
Yeah, I'm not crazy optimistic. I guess my only ask, and it's kind of been, I think, an ask of all three of us, is give us some hope going into Friday. Like I'd be cool if he played a great round tomorrow and kind of not flamed out to miss the cut, but like peak tomorrow, just because like it'd be nice to have a little bit of a sweat going into Friday morning and that 8 a.m. tea time and make the sleep tomorrow night fun. But yeah, I mean he's just the interesting thing this week is the long irons. I think Dan and I kind of talked about this on the Truist recap is over 200 yards. He's been really good this year. And this week's going to call on that. And the wedge play that we saw in Philly and really all year that's been kind of crappy is not going to be called on. So you can make the case that, but he's just, I hate to put it like he's good at finding ways to lose. And it's easy to lose in golf because you'll lose the majority of the time. And that's a saying they use in team sports and football. You find ways to lose as a team, but like it's just something will go wrong this week and it'll keep him from being it. But that's how it's been in the PGA Championship. I mean, that's just the plain truth. It's got to show it to us. He hasn't contended in a major since what? It's been 4 years now. 4 years come July. I'm sure you guys. Is there any optimism here that he could win this week from either of you two? I'd say probably not for you, Bob, but Dan, anything?
No, I tried to paint the picture earlier of like, here's how it would happen. And it's basically he has a good week with the putter, driver, short game, which showed life last week. And we get a pop week with the irons, the way that somebody might pop with the putter. Um, because he's shown that he can do that this year, right? There's been a few good iron weeks this season. And if this happens to be one of them, then, uh, you know, there's a decent chance that he'll be relevant on the leaderboard. Problem is when that happens, it just feels like, oh, well, then the putter's going to disappear, or he's not going to be able to hit a fairway, or can't hit a chip inside of 5 feet. So, uh, yeah, it just always feels like whack-a-mole. This year, it's maybe instead of last year, it felt like it was whacking three moles at one time, and this year it's maybe whacking one and a half. But it's not, the game is not complete. The puzzle pieces are not all put together, and
No, they're
that's
not.
just is what it is. And you're gonna have to have them more put together than what he's got to win this week for sure.
Yeah. No, I think it's well said. I texted you this, Dan, and like kind of my formula this week is just to scramble his rear end off, um, and take care of the par fives. It's kind of like my formula. I mean, Bob and I kind of saw it in person at Truist. Like he scrambled pretty darn well there. I mean, he hit some laughably good shots that Bob and I were just looking. I mean, 16 when he was long left, 17, I think he was long left as well, and he was just
Yeah.
hitting laughable,
He was
laughable.
hitting pretty poor chips from easy spots too, which is the funniest part of all that.
That's typical. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it makes it hard to lose and vice versa.
The three hardest shots around the green Seattle week, he really didn't make that tough.
Yeah.
Look that tough.
Yeah. No, but I don't I want to see a path to victory, but and theoretically, I guess I should. I mean, he is 21st in my model going into this week, and you would think the 21st best player would have a chance to win, but he's just good at finding ways to not be in the picture, and that's kind of commonplace for him at the PGA Championship, and it's just going to be that way until he shows us that it isn't that way. His stats in this tournament have been really, really bad. But I do think Bob and I kind of talked about this when we were shows together. Like this is a good PGA venue for him.
We talked about how it's probably the best.
Yeah, I mean he's a positive course fit for me. It is a good one, and I think Dan and I kind of mentioned it in the Truist recap. Like when there's not external factors, as Dan likes to say, like it's better for him. He knows this place. He knows where the pins are going to be. He said that. Less scouting this week of trying to figure out the proper misses. Like I think that helps. Um, yeah, I would just like a sweat. Like a great round tomorrow would be fun. Like if he craps the bed the next 3 days, so be it. It'd be nice to feel in the tournament after a Thursday to major. It's been a while, kind of, since he's done that.
I
So,
think he's gonna play pretty solidly this week. I just don't think it's gonna be. It's been. I've told Bob earlier. It's been sound. It's been solid, but it's been unspectacular. Like the scores, and that's I think just what we're gonna continue to get. And it'd be nice if the spectacular came on Thursday in the form of a 66 or whatever it might be. But my guess is and we'll see. Maybe it's not great, but my guess is it's probably a 70 or a 69. Same thing
tomorrow?
Friday. You might get a decent push Saturday, and then it'll close with the
I mean,
W
69,
too.
69 is quite the ask.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah,
good.
but it's like unspectacular. Like I think
I,
because if he's at 4 under, somebody's going to be at 10 somow. If
Yeah,
Thomas was at 4 under, he'd be one back. But that's
Good
just
point. It's a fair point.
right. And
four
I
under after 36 holes in 2017 was four off the pace.
Yeah, which hey, like four off the pace and probably T6 or something though, right? Like maybe a little farther back. Wasn't Hideki kind of separated from the pack?
He was tied with Kisner,
Wow.
who shot 67, 67.
Oh
Kisner
my.
getting around this course is insane.
Yeah. That's well, Kisner
Great
had a
player,
run in the
though.
majors, man. Didn't because in 2018, wasn't it Spieth, Kisner, Schauffele at the top at Carnoustie, and then Francesco
Yeah. It's crazy to
had
think right now that Kisner played well at Quail in 17.
yeah, that's kind of bonkers. Um,
Well, he helped. He was a big piece in bringing home the President's Cup trophy at Quail.
Quail's cool. I like it.
I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just said this earlier. I'm just not a huge fan of golf courses where the main characteristic is how long you have to be off the tee. So,
That's fair. I will say that. Yeah,
I mean, I don't like golf courses that completely eliminate players like Harmon and Bezaden out and stuff like that.
yeah. No, that's
I,
that's
I don't I don't mind golf. I don't mind distance being an advantage, but completely eliminating someone is it's. I mean, short hitters can make its way around Augusta at a similar yardage. It's tougher, but they
I
can do
mean,
it. They can't. You
yeah.
can't do that at Quail.
Well, and the conditions have to be right. The,
Yeah.
the you're not going to get any rollout in the fairways this week, so it's going to be carry distance, and
Yeah. So Brian Harmon's low draw is going to still go 285.
right, like
Yeah.
it's not ideal, for Harmon.
I'm actually looking at the last 10 PGAs. Guess how many where distance wasn't positively correlated to playing good golf?
In the last 10,
Yeah.
What were the courses? Let's run through them.
Valhalla, Oak Hill, Southern Hills,
so
Kiowa,
hold on
Craig
a
Park,
second.
Bethpage,
So,
Bellerive, Quail Hollow, Baltusrol, and Whistling Straits.
so I'm going to say Valhalla definitely was distance mattered.
Yes. Yep.
I'm going to
Southern
say
Hills. Yeah.
Southern Hills. I
Eh.
don't.
Maybe if there's anyone that's not, it's probably that one.
I would say Kiowa maybe wasn't,
Kiwi definitely was.
Kiowa's bombing
but
edge.
Yeah,
really
Kiwi
was it?
definitely was.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
guess it was
Mickelson was
Kepka
hitting
and
bombs
Mickelson.
all week.
Yeah.
I guess I'll cut to the chase. The answer is zero.
Yeah, no, that was going to be my guess. It was going to be 0 or 1.
Like you have
Um,
to hit it long
you do, you
in the
do.
PGA.
Yeah. I was thinking, well, what was 23?
Oak Hill.
Oh yeah. Well, Oak Hill for sure. 20, well, Morikawa won in 20. But I guess the rest of the leaderboard was DJ Brooks, Matt
Bryson
Wolf,
was up there. Matt Wolf was up there.
Bryson. Yeah,
Spring Park was very bomb and gougey statistically.
yeah. I guess I kind of forgot the Kiowa leaderboard was interesting though, because it was Phil and Brooks, but then it was like Louis, Lowry, I guess Padraig Harrington and his bombs came to play a little bit.
Rom
You
was
had,
up
you had Harry Higgs, like
Where? Which tournament?
Kiowa,
Kiowa.
which was sick, by the way. They're not planning to go back. We did get the news 2032 will be Southern Hills again.
Yeah, they are going back to Kiowa.
Oh, really?
I
Yeah.
don't love Southern Hills.
I
A lot of people
liked
loved
it.
it.
I wished the pace of play was better. I think that was the big issue was like, dude, all these holes are right next to each other.
It was like 6 hour rounds in the first two. Yeah.
And that was not the most fun. But I think and it's obviously got a infamous finish in some ways, right? Like it's kind of known as
Yeah. I
being
mean, it produced a poor winner.
but it also like so it had Mito choke, but then it also had the Zalatoris Thomas playoff, which as the years go on and Zalatoris becomes more and more irrelevant, which is sad. Like that'll lose value. But if Zalatoris becomes 75% of what people thought he might be, then that instantly becomes
He
kind of
really
a
did have so much hype.
somewhat of a legendary like tournament, just as it goes on, because it's Thomas and Zalatoris and um two players of that quality.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I liked it. I thought it had more quirk, and I'm kind of a I like golf courses with quirk. Um, so
Yeah.
but it's where is
I
that?
mean, Kia was fantastic. Kia was unbelievable.
Yeah, Kiowa was awesome. The fact that the winner was six, I think, is perfect. Um,
Excited for Ron Mink, to be honest.
I think Aronimink will be cool. Not for Spieth, but for the
No,
rest of the
no,
field,
no,
it'll be
no,
cool.
no.
Uh, Briscoe, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. I think there's some decent courses in the PGA lineup going forward. Um, so yeah, I don't know where how we got onto all of these golf courses, but oh, the
Well, let's talk
distance,
about the distance correlation and
distance.
how you see
Yes,
distance in the PGA.
yes. So 17, it was Thomas. Hideki, I guess, was somewhat relevant. Kisner, you just mentioned. Do you have that leaderboard still pulled up?
Yeah, Louis,
Okay.
um,
Miss
Reed,
Louis.
Fowler, Hideki, J Day was T9, um, Molinari was T2.
Okay. So there's a bunch of like, I guess Thomas had a great year that year, but a
I
bunch of
could
like really,
totally see a
really
Ricky
good players
LACC type week this week. I could totally see it.
from Fowler himself.
Yep, I
Uh,
could.
It was actually a pretty good leaderboard, Dan, because I'm looking at the data golf rankings of the guys coming in. Matsuyama, or Ricky was actually third in the data golf rankings entering that week.
wow.
Hideki was first. JT was 18th. Molinari was 15th. Kuchar, who finished T9, was ninth.
Yeah. Well, I was coming off the open.
Spieth was second, so Spieth really wasted an opportunity there. Shocker.
Yeah. Well, what did he finish?
T28.
Yeah.
T28 playing a lot better golf than he's playing right now. So, just saying.
Yeah, but that might have been his first tournament since.
Still playing way better golf, though.
I don't disagree, but he probably didn't touch a club for 10 days
He
after.
actually played the Bridgestone,
Oh,
um, where he actually hit the ball like a stallion that week. His iron play here, uh, Quail for the 17 PGA was pretty poor. He lost strokes on approach, and I mean, we all know how good the iron play was in 17.
yeah.
So,
A lot of long irons. Strength
yeah.
of his game now. I'm just, you never know.
Yeah, I'm actually looking. What do you guys think he's done best at Quail in his career, like statistically? Um,
I want to say
uh,
drive it.
the answer would be driving it. Yeah, he's driven it well here. He drove it well in 17, drove it well in 24 last year, and of course he just couldn't hit an iron shot to save his life. It's always interesting to see like how he hits the ball at certain places because I think he's visual, and I think certain visuals off the tee kind of impact sometimes how good he drives it. Like he always drives it poorly at Travelers, which I always find interesting. I don't know if it's a sightline thing or what it is, but it's always interesting to see like where he, I mean, obviously where you putt well, but
Yeah.
where you hit it well is well, because it's just curious. I mean, you've probably seen it in person a ton of times, Bob. Like he's lost strokes off the tee every single time he's played the Travelers. Like that isn't a coincidence. It's something about the place that just doesn't fit his
It's
eye.
it's all sight lines.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like the driver's lost, but I
Yeah.
mean, sight lines are a big thing. Like there are golf courses I I do certain things well at every time I play, and when it comes to irons and driving and just ball striking in general, a lot of it has to do with the sight lines and like
Yeah.
how the hole looks to you. I'd
I think
say
Quail too requires a little bit of like it
Quail
requires both
requires.
a draw and a fade.
Yes, I was just gonna
Like
say that it requires like you to hit slinging draws and push fades, and sometimes I think Spieth, who doesn't like to hit straight golf balls, um, loves to see holes that force his hand. Whereas if it's a straight hole straight away, he overthinks it and struggles with those. I think that's a really good point. That absolutely could be it.
yeah.
He's a
And
big
if
struggler.
dude, if
But he struggles in a lot of areas. Yes.
he's gonna drive it in the fairway this week, I mean, it's just up to the iron play to sort it out, you know?
And that's
Um,
troublesome.
yeah, no, that is. But if he can turn back the clock to Valspar or Valero or not Valero, Valspar or Ranch or um Phoenix, potential. There's
Over 200
potential.
yards has been good.
It
He's
has been good. It was not great
94th
last
in
week.
proximity from over 200 yards this year. He's
Good
also at the
showing.
14th percentile in poor shot avoidance from over 200 yards this year, which checks out.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's either really good or it's a bogey. It's kind of what I'm hearing from that. Or
Yeah.
worse around
Well,
Quail. You can get yourself in some gnarly spots around these greens.
I mean, it's been JWGJ, just win green jacket. I think this week it's just JHG, just hit greens.
Yeah.
That
I
is,
mean,
Tough ask.
yeah, that's the game plan this week. Just hit
he
greens.
did say that in his presser. He was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna try and hit greens this week."
Nuclear Golf just released their key pairings for the week. First one, Van Rooyen, Block, and Hughes.
Wow,
Thanks.
impressive, like block.
Thanks, Mike.
M Block being in this M championship is fantastic. Is Gooch in the field?
No,
No,
That's amazing.
but Tom McKibben is.
Yeah, I peeped that. I almost played him for triple double,
He's
um,
a good player.
which we should get into.
A little
there's
bit.
no way Quail plays tougher than it did for the 17 PGA.
No, zero. I think that I personally think the winning score is going to be double. I think it's going to be
Yeah,
14.
that's what I'm saying. Because I mean, JT won at 8 under, and it played like hard that year. It played
I think you
two
said 2.5 over.
two shots over par.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see how it plays. Because I mean, they're obviously gonna probably want it to play harder than it plays for the Truist slash Wells Fargo. Can they crank it up enough to where it plays harder than it did in 17?
It's weather dependent, I think.
No, I mean they've
Problem is,
been having these PGAs play very hard as of late outside of Valhalla. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of think it's single digits, but we'll see.
I think they won single digits.
Yeah. And
I think I
I
do
think
too.
the sub air is gonna let them do it.
Yeah.
Um, and if the fairways are going to be wet and they're playing it down, mud balls help. Rough being a little juicier doesn't hurt. And
It's fair.
you get a hair, if you get 10 miles of wind out there, a 200 shot's probably playing what, 210, 215 straight into. Like
That's
that's,
plenty to get into Spieth's head.
that's a club and a half for some.
Yeah.
And just I don't know. I think it'll play long, right? But it wouldn't, I guess if Hideki's on his game, we'll shoot a 63 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chills, Panthers goal, bang.
But I
Bob's
don't know.
63, 64. I don't know. I can't really throw out a score because I just don't
Is
know.
it 71?
Yes.
Then 64. I don't think it's 63, but I do think it's 64.
I mean,
Yeah.
what are the fives? 7, 10, 15? They're all pretty gettable, man.
Well, 10's going to be into the wind tomorrow.
10 into the fan.
Seven's really gettable. I mean,
7,
seven you can go for from basically anywhere. That bunker doesn't penalize you.
7 also into the wind tomorrow.
yeah,
Yeah.
7's got to be a 4 if you want to win the
Yeah.
chip, the M chip.
What
Yeah,
are the other
absolutely.
par fives? That's a good question.
15 is sort of gettable. 15 and 10 are going to be like, where do you leave your second? It's going to be an awkward pitch, but
15
if you hit it in the fairway, you can kind of spin it into any of those pins, really.
15's going to be down off the left. 10's
Yeah,
going to play over par tomorrow, would be my guess. Into the wind.
I think it depends on the pin.
Well, pins are out.
Oh, chills.
You have the pins.
Yeah.
Where's the pin on 10?
Front right, which should help.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if that's, yeah, we'll see. I'll probably play right around par. Because you
Yeah,
also
no, I
like
think
the first 2 days too, like we'll always play harder in the sense
Yep.
because you get the PGA pros and you get the
The Michael Blocks, the Spieths.
right, right. You get the have beens,
Yep.
the bees,
The once was,
right. Um,
but
and at the tech now you can't cheat like Sarah's in, so
well, yeah, it's tough to,
the
hole out from
Sarah's
an
in
unhole
59
outable
tomorrow would
distance.
have cameras on it and actually would probably be like an 80, 84, but um it wouldn't I bet there's a few folks that don't break 80 tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'd bet there's
Always
probably
is.
I bet there's a tour pro or two that doesn't, like a legit.
Oh, Nick Dunlap will
True. Yeah,
shoot in
that's
the
that's
80s.
well said. That dude has been
Nick
bottom of the
Dunlap shot
barrel.
2 over at the Cricket Club on Thursday last week. That's a tough round. There was
Yeah.
really no defense to that course on Thursday.
No, he shot a 72 on a course that played to 66 and a half.
Yes.
That's yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I mean
He's
it's
on
trouble for
fucking us,
Dunlap
man.
at least.
But anyway,
Some
speaking of
beefy
Dunlap,
holes for this one tomorrow.
speaking of Dunlap, I'm gonna use him in my triple double.
You're joking.
I am.
Yeah, you're not even coming close to getting me there, Daniel.
Um,
Yeah.
but who I am
It was
using,
I mean it was a great attempt at a segue, but
yeah,
that's about all it was.
yeah, who I am using though is Ludwig Aubert.
Yeah, I like Ludwig this week and I want to take him, but I just think the floor is a little bit I don't know.
The
Like
it
I
is
could see him winning this week, but I
it
could
is
also see him
risky.
missing the cut.
It is risky,
It's a
but
risky play.
he's playing with Spieth, and the two times he's played with Spieth, he's finished second and first. So I'm gonna just roll with that for now.
I love
Um,
taking him, Dan, because I think he's one of the bigger losers on this tour.
Loservig Aubert. Yeah, I mean,
I think he's the most overrated player. He may be the most overrated player on the tour right now.
that's not a take I totally disagree with.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's not.
even
I
sure I
mean,
disagree slightly
he's
with it.
consistently in the 18 to 1 range in normal event when he should be in the 30 to 1 range.
I'd be very happy to get a solo four.
No, I hear you. I'm looking at his last five and I see cut 7 T54 T60.
What was the seven?
The Masters.
Yeah. Like he's I don't care. He's playing
And
with
let's
Spieth.
not
He's gonna
forget he
play well.
choked away contention at that Masters on the final few holes.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, I don't like I said, I will be happy with a fifth out of Ludwig. I'm going with JT as well. I don't think I've used it twice. Should double check that. But
I don't think you have either.
he's playing well. Is it the greatest course fit for him? Arguably not, but I don't think it really matters. I think if you line up the top five guys in the world right now, I think he's got a good case to be one of them. Um, my picks are all over the place. I really wanted to go Rory, but I feel like there's another Rory place out there this year.
You
So
really?
I'm going Gary Woodland,
I don't
uh,
hate that. I don't hate that at all.
who's been playing decent and just hits it far. I don't know. A T15 would be nice. I
Yeah,
don't feel
I
great about my picks, especially hearing. I mean, Aubert's form is not good, but ultimately, I'm really just banking on he's going to play well against Spieth. Like that's what I'm
that's
banking on.
not a horrible take.
That's
I'd like to go to your point on McIlroy, and I think that this is just the most obvious play in the world, and I'm surprised I'm the only one picking him because I I think his floor is like 12th place. I
yeah, he's
don't
got a
know if
good.
it's necessarily competitive, but I just don't see a way he doesn't get you a massive paycheck this week.
Yeah,
He's
but I think
playing so good. It's a course horse and a half for him. I don't think he wins, but I think that it's just a perfect double play here.
yeah, I guess my take was like maybe he gets. I think there's a spot where I would feel like
He's gonna win.
he's gonna win. There's a few more signature events. Um, I I kind of like him at Portrush quite a bit because I think it'd be kind of the same thing as here. Um, and I don't know. I think he's not. Has he really played since the Masters? I guess he played last
Dirk.
week. T8.
Uh,
That's a pretty
T7.
damn good T8 for a course
I
that
mean,
is
last
not a
week
great
was a
course.
T7.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
We'll go
saving him
Well,
for
T7.
Memorial maybe or Scottish.
it's fair. I'm going with him just because I think that the floor is perfect
Yeah.
for a triple double play. Next, I did say I think there's going to be a random winner this week, and I think Thomas is my pick to win,
Wow.
which is pretty devastating to say out loud. Um, because he is a random player, but I think that the last few weeks have just set up perfectly for Justin Thomas to come in. And I mean, Justin Thomas just seems like a 3-4 PGA kind of guy. I could see him finishing his career with more majors than Spieth and all of them being PGAs.
And like four of them at tour courses.
Yeah. So he's my pick to win this week. I'm terrified of him. He's a major loser, but I am completely terrified of him this week. And I think he's a low floor kind of player, which is a little scary. But I think he's just playing too well right now. I think the floor is probably T30 this week for him, which is whatever. But yeah, he's my he's my pick to win. Um, and then I'm going with Neiman just because I think that he does break that stretch this week. I think gets into the top. I think gets yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll go. I'm following your footsteps with Neiman. I'm going three live guys. So, Neiman, yeah, he's what, 12th in my model. So he's right up there. I think it's kind of funny. I'm looking at the 11 guys that are above him, and I've used quite a few of them twice already. So I'm kind of going down to him. I've used Fleetwood twice. I've used JT twice. Still haven't used Scheffler once, but that ain't gonna be done this week. I was telling Dan last night, Bob, I'm kind of penciling in Scheffler for Memorial for one of them. I don't really think there's a more Scheffler course on tour than Memorial, and he's kind of shown that. But anywho, going Neiman. Uh, I'm going Bryson. Bryson's my pick to win this week. He's gained 49 and a half shots off the tee this year in like 8 events, which is just absurd. I mean, he hits it further than everyone else, and he's above average accuracy now, which is, I mean, just crazy, crazy stuff.
I mean, there's a good chance we never. I mean, we probably will because of technology, but being able to be alive at the same time as Rory and Bryson, and they're happening at the same time. I mean, the technology will probably make it easier in the future, but the fact that with the technology we currently have, which is good, but it's still you still have to you still have to hit the ball really well. I mean, the fact that they can hit the ball that far and that straight consistently is ridiculous.
Yeah, no,
It's ridiculous.
um, yeah. So I'm going Bryson. Rory's a great pick this week, obviously. But I will say, and I know you were kind of saying Oakmont's not a good fit for him. I mean, his U.S. Open record of the last six, he's went 2-2, T5, T7,
I
T8.
never said it wasn't a good fit for him. I just said I don't see him winning.
Yeah, but I mean, I still like him to cash a check there, and I have one more
My
Rory.
only question is, what's your reasoning for thinking you like him to cash a check more there than here?
Part of
I
it's
feel
just,
like his floor is worse there.
ah, I mean, maybe he putted well at Winged Foot, and those greens aren't easy by any stretch of the imagination.
I'm just thinking like, is there like you can't tell me you wouldn't be shocked if he finishes outside the top 20 this week. I'd be shocked.
No, 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 I agree. I mean, part of it's just I don't want to use Bryson and Rory this week, which
Fair.
probably the smart play is to do just that. But um, yeah, I really just don't want to use both of them. That's kind of part of the decision making, and I feel
I'm a little worried about how public Bryson is.
yeah, I mean that's fair, but
I mean, golf Twitter cappers is not the way to necessarily decide how many people are betting who, but over 50 or over 40 cappers on Twitter have bet Bryson this week, and that's a number that never gets hit. And his odds went from 1,400 to 800 in the span of 2 days.
I think they were mispriced to begin with.
I agree. I agree.
I think he should be the favorite this week. That's my personal opinion.
I mean, we got him 10 to 1 without Rory and Scotty,
Yeah,
and that's probably a 375 number. I think.
yeah. No, that's why I think he should be the big favorite this week.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he could go on a duel with Rory and lose and still cash a 10 to 1. I mean, that's just so mispriced.
Yeah. No, you said it yourself. But yeah, he's my pick to win this week. I don't really care how chalky it is. I just think I mean he's driving it just at an absurd level. I think if his iron play is just half decent, he'll be in good shape. And then my last play, I'm going with the other man playing with Jordan Spieth this week. I'm going Captain America P. Reed. Um, another guy the model liked. He's not the longest, but these very, very infrequently in major championships is short game not a big deal, and it separates a lot of guys, and he might have the best short game in the world. 14th in the model. He's played great here in the past at Quail Hollow, so you say you need driving distance. He's kind of proved that to not be the case. He's what's he done here? He was right up there in 2017. Um, he's been playing pretty solid on Live, third at the Masters. Um, he'll relish playing with Spieth as well. I think it's kind of funny when I posted the tee times on my Instagram account, I had a follower ask, "Will Jordan be affected playing with Pierre Reed?" Which got a laugh out of me because if he is, we got a lot bigger issues than his golf. But Pierre Reed will love playing with Spieth. I know that. Um, I mean, I think the guy should probably end up being on the Ryder Cup team if he plays well the rest of the year. It won't happen just because of politics, but um, yeah.
Certainly would rather Pat Reed on there than Sam Burns of the world.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean,
Speeds of the world, even.
Pat Reed could play his way on if I mean, he wins one of these things he's in. And I think if he has another good week this week, another top five, that's two top fives in the majors. It's hard to
Yeah,
look
I'm with
and
Dan.
hard to
I don't think
know the
never
mindset of
happens.
Bradley, but I if he keeps playing well, it wouldn't Reed feels like a kind of guy that could play sneaky good at Oakmont. Um, and maybe get
I
his
love those
name.
greens.
Yeah, maybe get his uh be a part of the picture at Port Rush, and that's the formula there.
Yeah,
Um,
I hate to call anyone out, but um, if he's in the form he is right now in August or September, I hate to put anyone. You're a loser if you don't want him on the team. I don't care about the dynamic. He's 7-3-2 in the Ryder Cup. Do you want me to go down the list of how many guys that will be on that team have a losing record, including Spieth?
You don't need to. I mean, it should be self-explanatory. I mean, it's very clear that putting Burns, Fowler, those guys on the team is not a winning formula.
Spieth,
Finau,
sorry.
Spieth, yes.
Yeah, I mean, we can just a little Ryder Cup discussion. I've been kind of not against Jordan making the team, but earning his way on. I mean, I think he's got a case right now. But I mean, if it comes down to him or someone else, he shouldn't get that, political sign of you're on. Jordan's got a losing record in this competition. That speaks for itself. He's 8 and 9 and 5. So, like
well, who,
Ryan, a
but
friend of the pod, who thinks he should undoubtedly be on. Like,
Yeah.
do you want to win the Ryder Cup or do you want your fandom to outwin and him be on the team?
that's fair. But I also think, and obviously we're still a ways away from this, but there's a lot of we call Spieth a quote unquote loser sometimes, and he's got a losing record, but some of the other dudes that could potentially be on the team,
Yeah,
like
completely. Like the Cam Youngs, the Burns. Yeah, I
my
agree.
goodness.
Well, those dudes aren't even in consideration, I would think, right now.
Well, you'd hope so. But then you're looking at the rest of the team and it's like, do you really want Andrew Novak?
No, I don't think he should be on the team.
He's eighth right now or ninth.
I think Denny's going to have a good case, and Denny should get the call.
We could get in big trouble because we we could get in big trouble if we have too many short hitters on the team. Because you have to hit it long at Bethpage. And Henley and Denny. Denny's kind
Mav.
of, Denny's kind of a loser. Mavs chills. I just don't think he hits it far
So
enough.
you know what's
Emily's a
tough
shoe-in
too?
right now, so
Yeah.
And Henley like deserves to be on the team
He
by
does. He
all
does. But
means.
the problem is then all of a sudden you're forced to pick between short hitters and losers.
Well, and I think the short hitters are also they're only not losers in this sense because they haven't had the chance to lose.
correct.
And I think that that's an interesting way to go about it. I'd also say that if Keegan wasn't captain, I would feel great about putting him on the team. But I know he said he's gonna have to play his way into the top six, but like if I'm making the team, I feel I'd certainly have Patrick Reed there if he continues to play well. I'd want Keegan Bradley there, McNeely. Um,
I agree. Right now, Keegan 1000% should be on the team right now.
yeah, but I don't think he's gonna pick himself, and that's
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, we'll see where we are in 4 months. I have him on right now. I think he should 100% should be on, but we'll see. We're still a ways away.
yeah,
Yeah, we are.
it is an
He's a top
interesting
12
debate.
American
But
in my book right now.
and part of that though too, like the reason talking about it is the points are doubled this week. Like you get 1,000, you get 1 point for every $1,000 you make, and they're either doubled or time and a half. Um, I think they're doubled, and
I think they're double too.
so a big week, you know, a big week this week is huge for a lot of these guys. Like if a Novak goes out and has a great week, he could lock himself to being inside the top 12 come Ryder Cup selection. And it's like, well, what do you do there? But on the flip side, for a guy like even for Reed, right? If it's another solo third, it's another huge jump in the kind
Yeah.
of rankings there.
I also think
Um,
Keegan Bradley will be looking at it from the standpoint of, how many points are these guys losing by not getting to make points every week, I think Bradley will be pretty unbiased in terms of live. I kind of get that. Whereas I don't think Zach Johnson was. I think Zach Johnson was forced to pick up Ken Bryson, but I don't think he wanted to.
Yeah. Well, Kepka also has sort of played his way. He hasn't played his way on the conversation. I know they had a lunch or meeting the other day, and Kepka was there, Bryson was there. Obviously, Bryson will be on the team for sure. Um,
Kepka's not even close right now.
Kepka has not done a whole lot, and these are his chances to do something.
I
Uh,
expect a good week from Kepka.
I would love to, and I don't think if he doesn't have one, he's like,
You said short game's pretty important here, Jordan.
I think it's going to be. I think it always is in majors more than other
He's
events.
peaking right now. This is his best season so far, right?
around the greens potentially.
Let's
But you,
just say
but you
he's
gotta you gotta
very
still
much
hit the
flying in
grade
under the radar.
first.
He is flying under the radar. He really is.
It does look like his short game's fallen apart the last three events.
No, that's unfortunate.
Oh, it's kind of funny. If you look at his, I know you're not like the stat guy, Bob, but if you look at his data golf page, it was phenomenal going into the Masters and his last three tournaments. It's just fallen off the earth.
That's unfortunate.
Yes. He's
But
been, but again, like you're getting that caliber of player at crazy.
Yeah.
Like, he thinks he can win this week, probably.
Well, Kepka's
he
the
thinks he
kind
can win this week more than Spieth.
potentially. Yeah. So he's the type of
There
dude
is no chance Kepka isn't going into this tournament being like, I'm going to win. There's no chance he's not. That's exactly what he's thinking.
I don't know. You watch the Netflix series, I think he's a little more human than he
I think
might
he's
let on.
human, but I think he kind of flips a switch for major weeks. I think it's self-explanatory.
Yeah, but when
Also
I mean,
getting
what did he do at the Masters? Nothing.
the weekend off.
Yeah.
And
I was
that's
shocked by that.
that's a pretty brutal cut to miss. Um, we'll see. But to that point, and on to the counterpoint to it is like Kepka could find something on the range tomorrow morning and go shoot a 66.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think that's also in the bag a lot more than it is for a guy like the one we talk about most. So it's hard to rule Kepka out in a lot of ways, which is kind of crazy. And I do miss him sort of dominating, but we've got two other dudes that are playing their best. It also curious too, like we haven't talked a ton about Scheffler, but he did win in his last start by a lot.
You
I
did.
don't think it's necessarily a bad course fit. Like, is he just flying under the radar and just gonna,
Yeah,
it'd
he
be,
is.
yeah. Like, I
I
think it'd
think
be,
people just expect him to play good. It's just, do you think he's going to win the golf tournament?
yeah. It would be cool if we got an actual Scheffler Rory or Bryce, like a proper like
Yeah. I mean,
showdown, because Scheffler just kind of runs away and hide. He beats
I'll
the
say
King
this
Smiths, he beats
about
the Lee
Scheffler.
Moos.
Scheffler does win well less than he should. It's not unprecedented for people to not talk about him like this. I mean, he's never won a major outside of the Masters.
True.
It's not like he wins all these majors. Like he wins at far less a clip than he should. So I think it's probably fair that he's coming in
He
as
won
the
8
third
times
guy.
last year, Bob.
Well, yeah,
What?
in the previous 5 months, he's maybe won less than he should, but he did win 8 times last
Oh,
year.
I think that his major performances are a complete disappointment.
Well, you're talking majors
Yeah,
specifically, maybe. That's
yeah,
fair.
yeah.
Okay. He didn't get arrested.
I think if you have the 2 season stretch he had the last 2 years, winning 2 majors and then being the same one is a great disappointment. I mean, you only play that well so many times in your life.
I think he's just getting started though.
I disagree. I disagree. I think he'll be an unbelievable player his entire career, but I don't think he'll ever be what he was.
Last year.
Yeah,
That's fair. I mean, I
I
still
think
think
he
it's
peaked last year.
years though.
I mean, think about how hard it is to win, to do what he did last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just keep giving yourself chances though.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing is like it's hard to win majors in general. Rory showed us that. Um, but
Yeah.
you keep knocking on the door and you're gonna luck into some. Like especially in the way that Scheffler knocks on the door. It's not a subtle knock, even though he's a pretty humble and
No, he's 7 back, and you know exactly where he is if you're the leader.
100%.
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
there's something to be said about it for sure.
and especially now too, like
Because he can also birdie 4 holes in a row that
hmm
many people in the field don't even think are birdie holes,
he can
and
no,
you just won't even be shocked.
I mean it could be Friday or Saturday afternoon. He's 5 back
And
going
he
into
birdies the entire Green Mile.
the green mile. I was just about to say, and he birdies two
Yeah,
out of the three in the green mile, and you
yeah,
make one bogey, and he's 2 back going into the next day. It's like,
yeah.
well,
No, that's completely fair. That's completely fair. But
so
I
he's
think, given the way the majors have happened recently, I think it's completely fair to say he's the third most likely to win the golf tournament here, behind Bryson and Rory. I think that's completely fair.
yeah. They've also Rory has been better than him this year, in my
Correct.
opinion.
Correct.
And I think Bryson,
It's tough to tell. Yeah.
it's tough to tell with live and whatnot. But um, yeah, I mean Scheffler, he hasn't played a lot in the last month, but he did win the second major on the calendar.
He
So
did.
you're forgetting he is a 3-time major champion now,
Yeah,
Bob.
it did slip my mind, unfortunately.
I mean, he was so good they had to redesign the course for next year.
Yeah. It's like when they redesigned Augusta for Tiger.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Scheffler gets to 40 under next year.
Yeah. Maybe he becomes a 4-time major champion.
No, it would be really cool. Scheffler, Rory. Like I want to see that this week actually.
I don't.
Um, so
I want to see Bryson with someone. I just want someone I can root for because I don't root for Scheffler or McIlroy. So,
I just
but
want non-chalk because I really think the top three. But it's funny. I thought we'd get a longer shot that won at Augusta, and I mean we nearly did with Rose, but I mean nearly is not anything. But this week I just
yeah,
feels very top three.
wouldn't be surprised with a Rose good finish this week if he's healed and healthy.
he
Don't think
gets
he's
up
gonna
for
win.
majors, man.
He does.
He's still got some in the tank.
He's got one more major contention in him for sure.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
He's a chilling player on the weekend.
Yeah, I'm not sure
I mean,
this
the
is
fact that
his.
he didn't completely exit on the Masters after that Saturday is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, and to bounce back by did he make 10 birdies?
On Sunday, yeah.
Yeah. That's yeah. That's some sack right there.
Sucks, right?
That is some sack. And that also, while we were talking about Ryder Cup, I know we've been going on for a while, so we probably wrap it up here in a minute, but like Justin Rose is probably a Ryder Cupper this year. Like that's just
Oh,
dudes
absolutely.
on Team Europe that just win. They just get it
Yeah.
done.
Oh my
And
God. Spieth versus Rose on Sunday could be ugly.
well, especially if it matters.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That
Because
could be
Europe could have
disgusting.
it in control.
Yeah.
I can imagine a Rose romping
Yeah.
on Sunday as he celebrates the crown up 5-4 or something like that over Spieth. I mean, that would be um
I
that just is like a very realistic thing. Just kind of funny to imagine.
Europeans just win.
Yeah.
I mean, look at his
Straka,
record.
Lowry, like they're all playing well. And nobody in America is playing well other than Bryson and Scotty and
It's actually
JT.
funny that you mentioned Lowry and Straka. Those two dudes have losing Ryder Cup records.
Yeah, that's
Speaks
because they
losing, and a guy that probably, I mean, I wouldn't have on their team right now. Fitzpatrick is 1-7 in the Ryder Cup.
well, yeah, that does not surprise me. He's a friend of D-Rap.
good point.
Oh, thank you for that.
I think that's a gret note to end on, personally.
Yeah, not sure I have much more to say.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, nah, D-Rap's is who he is. Respect his craft. And uh Northwestern's a cool school.
yeah,
So
but
Couldn't
maybe
hang
just
on
a
the
little
ball.
salty they didn't accept me, but that's okay.
we need some excitement tomorrow, to say the least.
Yes, I
Yeah,
wouldn't be
and
in
it
the
all
golf.
starts 1:25 Eastern, correct?
Yeah, I'm gonna go play golf myself in the morning.
Chills. That'll be a great day.
Oh, it'll be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be great until she's starting on 1 or 10.
One, I believe. Is that true, Jordan? He's afternoon, so I'd imagine it'd be one.
It's a good question.
Oh, one could absolutely be a bogey. Oh, that would suck.
He's getting one into the fan tomorrow. If it's
Is he
oh, this
off
is
on
a
one?
tough wind direction tomorrow. Let me look. Sorry.
I think he is off one.
Yes, he is off one.
Yeah. But yeah, one, I mean, one and two's not an easy hole either. Could
Let's just
be
make a birdie before a bogey tomorrow.
that would be that'd be a good start. I'd appreciate a couple pars before a bogey.
Two's downwind, ones and two. Tricky win tomorrow. I'm excited to see how it plays.
Would
Yeah.
certainly sign for even through 6.
I well, yeah, what I mean, obviously we have to see how it ends up playing out, but I think something in the 60s tomorrow I would be over the moon about.
Yeah,
So,
I
seems
want
like a
to.
good goal.
I agree. But
But yeah, any
see you
more
tomorrow,
thoughts?
unless you guys have any closing thoughts.
No, low expectations.
Yeah, I think that's honestly kind of fine though. Like
I
there's
think
nothing.
Spieth would be flying in very under the radar this year if Rory hadn't won the Grand Slam.
Yeah, he alluded to it. I'm like, is he even in the freaking interview room if Rory doesn't win the slam? 'Cause that's
No,
all
he's
I
not.
ask him about.
Uh, maybe.
There's been PGAs where he hasn't been in the interview room, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but he did,
He said there have been PGAs where no one's even asked him about the slam once going into the tournament.
yeah, and rightfully so.
Yeah, he's poor. He's usually an out of form player.
Yeah. I mean, but this year with the wrist and 62 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, that's fair. Screw the slam, man. Just play well in a major. Like it's been a
Yeah,
while
I
since
agree.
that's been done.
Yeah.
Like he even said that, and that's kind of like my closing thought. Like he said in his interview, like I usually just look at it as another major. I mean, like
It's not shocker.
usually when you're Rory, when you're in contention at like every major to hunt the specific one, he hasn't been in contention at like any of them lately.
Yeah.
So take any you can get.
That's well said. Well said.
Agree. But thank you all for tuning in. It's been a long one, but looking
Very.
forward to tomorrow. And we'll see you for the recap.
Very. Peace out, everybody. Whew.
Alrighty.
It's a doozy. That was fun though.
It was great talking points. Panthers are up 4-0. Carp. A fantastic turn of events. Since that
Oh, the
game she
Leafs are
lost.
gonna leaf, baby.
Just an exciting, like I don't know. Bryson Rory has me interested. Scotty, like even if it's not the like Scotty Bryson maybe or Scotty Rory isn't really like what we'd want to see, but I still think that's cool. You don't get like 1 versus 2 or 1 versus Bryson very often in the
Yeah,
way that we could this week. So,
I agree.
but
All right. I'm gonna go watch the end of this game. You gentlemen enjoy your night. I'm sure we'll talk plenty this week. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Take care, guys.
enjoy. Enjoy Slam Eve.
yes.